passed away in a Dallas hospital as he was undergoing physical therapy just 6 days after falling and breaking a hip. He was 82 and leaves behind his beloved wife, Jerry, 3 children, and 10 grandchildren. As a broadcaster, he was without question one of the most important figures in the history of our network. He was a football player out of Lake City, Florida, who started Arkansas and then the New York Football Giants as both a wide receiver and place kicker. One day in his New York apartment, a producer from WCBS Radio called looking for his roommate to come in for an audition. The caller said, "Hey, you have a good voice too. Why don't you come in for a tryout?" Well, he did. And he won that audition over his football teammates Charlie Connerly, Alex Webster, and Kyle Root. Alas, a great career had been launched. His on-air kinship with Tom Brookshire and later John Madden, simply legendary. He called 16 Super Bowls in all, including Super Bowl I for CBS. He called the highest-rated show in American television history, Super Bowl 16.
Penalty markers down. Anderson will go through it wisely. He has Kreider. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall, welcoming you to this new season on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And we got just the perfect day for football here at Giant Stadium. Touchdown. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. Next for Clinksdale. Should go. Should go. Will go. And the kick is good. There will be no three-peat. Tony, of course, won that championship himself. How do you see the man?
I'm not going to tell you I love you, but I do like you a lot, an awful lot.
John Madden, remembering Pat Summerall, coach, eulogized him today, as did our coordinating producer of golf and football, Lance Barrow. But John saying he was a great broadcaster and a great man. He was something very special. Pat is the voice of football and always will be. He was the one who documented careers like Montana, Starr, Staubach, Bradshaw in football. And yes, he was and always will be that voice that sounds like the NFL. Connors, McEnroe, Bjorn, Navratilova, Everett in tennis, working with his pal Tony Trader. He was there for many of those stars' biggest moments in tennis. And in golf, Palmer, Nicklaus, Watson, Trevino, Norman, even our man Sir Nick Faldo's first 2 green jackets were described by Pat. He was a great golf anchor and loved this world of covering the PGA Tour, sitting in this very chair from this very tower.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pat Summerall. We certainly hope you had a happy 4th of July and the whole weekend has been good to you.
Pat Summerall here at 18 with Ken Venturi, our golf analyst. The weather conditions, the wind conditions, everything's been just about perfect.
And congratulations to Greg Norman. What happened? How did it all happen?
I don't know, Pat. It just the light went on and voting stopped forming.
And again, it's been a great tournament. The Pro-Am is just spectacular.
Absolutely spectacular.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be involved when Sammy Davis Jr. is involved.
CBS, I love you. That ought to take us into tomorrow pretty comfortably, don't you think?
There's your champion. Got it.
I've been here since 1968, and I cry every time.
Nothing more need be said. Good night.
The honest, heartfelt words from Pat, admitting he cried every time a champion walked up the 18th. And there's another one of our legends, Jack Whitaker, remembering Pat. They worked together for so long out here in golf. His great strength was that he didn't talk too much. He got out of the way and let his cover man do the job. He was as good as there was at doing that. And as we come back here live to the 18th with my colleague Gary McCord, we were really lucky. You know, we got to work with Pat the better part of 10 years. And what are your memories?
you know, when I first started here in '86, we started together, and you know, I'm looking, I'm not doing it full time, but I'm looking at the guys around me, and I'm Ken Venturi, and Ben Wright was writing for the London Financial Times, and he was a great writer, and Bob Murphy and all these guys. I remember one day I kind of settled up next to Pat, and I said, Pat, I need some help. I don't know who to be in this telecast. I don't know what to be. And he, you know, as reticent as he was, he just stopped and he says, try being yourself. He says, if you lie, the camera will figure it out. And I went, oh, that's pretty good. I walked down and said, I got to be myself. I apologize for that, but I'll be myself.
So we have Pat to thank for you, huh? Okay. You know, we want to bring some levity to this because it's been a tough week for all of us. So many still around that had the honor of working with Pat. But as we sit in this tower, this was a place where we had a lot of fun. Back in the old days, when we didn't have the extensive coverage we have today, there used to be this thing called the CBS poll openings by the announcers, and we would come up here early Saturday morning, Sunday morning, tape these openings. It was intimidating trying to knock out your little description of, say, the 16th hole with Mr. Summerall right there. Remember that?
I remember, literally, I remember like it was the other day. I came in and I'd been practicing. I'm going to go in front of these guys and we're going to do a hole opening. So we get up there and I'm standing there and Pat's up first and he just goes crank, crank, crank,
yep.
Crank, boom.
Yep, perfect.
And somebody nudged me and says, that's 3 years. He's never missed. And I would never miss it. No, it's done the first take every time. So I get up there, you know, I made a few putts, or not much, but
as
my heart got going.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and it's jumping out. I'm going, I got to sit there. I'll never forget. I got there and the first one, I messed up. And then it's, forget it.
Yeah, so
23 takes later, I get it done. I'm exhausted. I get done, I walk by Pat and he goes, you'll be out here long enough, you'll get it right.
Yeah.
And I walked off and I just sat there, and the next time I remember, I spent 3 days on it and I didn't get it wrong. I got it the first time at Pat. That was so funny. Stay out here long enough, you'll get it right.
Yeah, it was harder than making a 3-footer on the PGA Tour.
Without a doubt.
Of course, Pat had some, if you will, kind of familiar lines in his whole openings. And through the years, ever since he retired, I try to bring some of them back. And there's a little hidden message for him. So if you've heard me say this before, it was always just a little tribute to Pat because I knew he and Cherry were back home watching. But this tournament, he'd always say, and I'm Pat Summerall, and I'll be describing the action at 18. Calabogie Sound to the left, condominiums and out of bounds to the right. And now let's check the leaderboard. Now, he was a special man.
He was a special man. We're going to miss him.
We are. Thank you, pal.
Thank you, bud.
We're very lucky.
Yes, we are.
You know, in talking to Cherry Summerall yesterday, she wanted everyone to know Pat's message in the end was, it's never too late. He had celebrated a birthday on April the 9th, his 21st birthday of sobriety. The following day was the day he broke his hip. He was determined to get home from this, to a home that he actually had named. It was called Amazing Grace. For as Pat told thousands these past 2 decades of the countless talks he made to try to help others, that it was God's grace that saved him. It's never too late for faith, family, and forgiveness. Last weekend, Cherry told me he was watching the Masters from his hospital room, waiting for clearance to begin physical therapy, watching a tournament he had broadcast 26 years. Sunday he fell asleep as the tournament was drawing near the end. Suddenly he awoke, pulled the covers back and tried to get out of bed. He said to her, I've got to get to Butler Cabin. They need me.
So on behalf of our entire broadcast group, for the last time, I'm Pat Summerall saying, so long.
Good luck, my man. We'll miss you.
Thanks, guys. I'll miss you.